Dr. Jazz. Dr. Jazz.
It's I don't know. I still think it's my favorite music that I've pretty much ever heard. It's just so dimensional and so open
Yeah.
and so like the melodies, you're not sure the first time you hear it, is that a melody or is that something that he improvised?
Yeah,
and later
exactly.
Yeah, and you go, oh, that was a melody. How about that? I love that.
Yeah.
Always love that.
Yeah, especially live. I saw him live like 2-3 times, and it was always like this.
Yeah.
What's happening now? It's like the groove was going on, but you weren't sure whether it's the melody, whether it's an improv, and whether it's composed or whether it's improvised. Like it's so beautiful what he was doing. Yeah.
And he was super influenced by Ellington, and he would play those tunes from time to time on gigs. I mean,
did you guys ever play together? Like also like informally, I guess. Yeah, right.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit in his studio. He sometimes just play something. What? We had percussion jams a lot. That was
like both of you on percussion, or
on percussion, but like little percussion, like little shakers and little stuff.
Man.
And we just jam, and it was a total blast. It was so good.
Wow. But did you meet Joe like through Scott Henderson, or because Scott was playing with Joe, right? Like
Scott was playing with Joe right before I started working with Scott.
Yeah.
And I always kind of thought, I was really hoping, that he would introduce me, but that didn't happen. And of all things, it was, well, Scott was kind of afraid of him because he left the band to do Tribal Tech, and he was thinking that Joe was probably not happy about that.
Yeah.
And so he didn't introduce me, and I think in a way he was a little bit, not in touch. So I actually met a guy who worked at a lighting store right by where I lived. He worked at a lighting store, and we were talking about music, and I don't know how. I guess he was friends with my roommate, and we were talking about music, and he said something like, "Yeah, man. Well, every Christmas time, right around now, Joe calls me and has me come out to the house to work on Christmas tree lights and stuff." So I was like, "You're joking, right?" And he goes, "He just called. Do you want to go with me on Saturday or whatever?" I'm like, quadruple yes, like, of course, if you're serious. I don't know if you're joking, but like, if you're serious, I'll definitely want to go. So next thing I know, I'm halfway up a ladder, and my friend Jim Getch is down there. No, I mean, Jim is a little bit above me. I'm in the middle, and Joe is down there going like a little to the left. That's how I met Joe Zawinul.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Actually, that's
and then when we were done, he said, "Yeah, I've been hearing a little bit about you, through the grapevine or whatever." And I didn't want that meeting to end, so I asked him something, just anything, and he said, "You want to come inside? Come inside." And he started plugging in keyboards and all. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
And that's the beginning of our friendship, and we stayed friends until the very end.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, actually, to meet your hero and then actually.
Oh man. And and not to be disappointed, A lot of people say, well, don't necessarily want to meet your hero because it might not be what you hoped for. But with Joe, it was everything I was hoping for and even more.
Yeah, man, I love reading autobiographies,
Yeah.
And of musicians, and I will not name names, but many times I'm like, okay, Leonard Cohen, I'm like, really, or whoever, Paul Simon, like,
yeah.
Paul Simon.
Well, see, now that's one, Paul Simon, because I think he's unbelievable musician, and I love his records. And
one of my favorite players ever.
I would think that. I mean, I don't know what would imaginably be disappointing about him, but I'm guessing now there was something.
Yeah, or many stories like that, or you meet some people, you're like, okay, I thought you would be, I don't know, but of course, deeper. It's different when you meet also someone after a gig or something, or if you have like.
Well, that's true. That's true. It depends on the context that you meet someone in. Oftentimes.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I had met Joe after a gig, it wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Sure.
I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But the way that we met, it just, I don't know, it just
it's beautiful. I mean, that's, yeah. Did he ever see you guys with Tribal Tech live or something like that? Or he heard the music probably, right?
I mean, to my knowledge, he never came to a gig, but I'm sure he must have heard stuff, or he'd heard about it, or from people that he trusted or whatever, you know. Because he said he had heard, you know, good things about me, and that was kind of like, I don't know, I was a little bit surprised, but that's what he said. And so I don't know what he heard, but at some point he asked me when we were working together on his record. I'm pretty sure that was the time, but he asked me, hey, well, what are you working on? You know?
Oh,
and I said, well, I'm actually working on, you know, what would be my first record. And he said, well, let me hear it. So.
Oh, like kinesthetics, or?
It turned out to be kinesthetics. Okay, I was working on that record, and I went to my car, I grabbed the CD, I brought it in, he put it on. After we listened to the first 10 seconds of the first 2 tunes, and he reached out his hand, he goes, okay, you got the job. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, I want to release your record. So I was like, oh, damn, that's unbelievable. So he's like, yeah, you know, even my own bandmates, I don't know about what their records are. You know, I don't know if I want to go there with that, but this one I really like. So so that was really cool, and he did release it in Europe. The States version of his label never came together. I don't think it was called Bird Jam, but I don't think the States version ever came together.
Because it was on Abstract Logic, otherwise, right? In the States,
it's on Abstract Logic, yeah.
Yeah, I love that record. It's.